Hello and welcome back to the Fat Dad Fishing Show. I'm your regular host, Rich Natoli, and tonight we're going to have a show. I think we're going to talk a lot about fishing, but we're going to continue the theme that the weather sucks, and we're kind of in a position where even a lot of unless you're ice fishing, a lot of the freshwater guys are off the water now too. Um, I was driving home from work today and I was like, oh, I should take a picture, just share it in the stream tonight of the frozen creeks that I was going to fish for trout this past couple of weeks. And it's like, what's the point? Everybody sees it. All you have to do is look out the window. If you're anywhere in this viewing area, if you're anyone that watches the show with any regularity, at least the majority of you are on the East Coast, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, you know what it's like. Just look out the window. So we're going to get together. We got Captain Josh here. We got Benji for Crabbin and Fishin. We're going to talk about what the hell do we do? What are we doing right now when we're off the water? Because it's tough to get out there. So I'm going to roll quickly towards that. We're going to hit the sponsors real quick. We have Great Bay Outfitters, Radio Road in Tuckerton, New Jersey. Experience Great Bay. Paul, his group, by the way, he's hiring for this upcoming season. So if you're thinking that you might need a position and you want to work at the #1 kayak shop in the region, reach out to Paul, reach out to Great Bay Outfitters. If you're looking for a kayak and you want to get on the water, I'm pretty sure the lagoon is frozen right now, so you can't get on the water. But once it's thawed out, Paul will get you on the water. You can test out the kayaks before you buy them, and I always recommend that. So check that out. Quad Stay tuned with Kevin Driscoll. You can reach him at 484-633-5975. If you have a Toyota truck, a 4Runner Tundra, Lexus 460 or 470, these are engine tunes that will help you to get the most performance out of those engines as possible. Better torque, better mileage, better shifting. If you're towing a boat and you have a Toyota, talk to Kevin. If it doesn't make sense for you, he will tell you. He will not tell you to buy it if it doesn't make sense, but reach out to Kevin. And then you have me for real estate in southeastern Pennsylvania. Primarily, I am working with residential real estate, do some light commercial real estate as well. I actually have some listings coming up for that. But if you have anything, you need anything, reach out to me. If you know anyone buying or selling, reach out to me. My cell number is 267-270-1145. And I'm about to bring them on, but one last thing. We did talk briefly in the past about this new site that we have for the Fat Dad Fishing community. And I did post about this on Facebook. We are going to have a Discord. Well, we do have a Discord server that is going to be just for a Fat Dad Fishing group. And all of you are invited to join as soon as it's public. It is private right now. We have it set up. We've got some admins. I made the crazy decision to allow my brother to be one. So God only knows what the hell's going to happen with that. But also Joe Billups is in there, and we can all trust Joe, I think. And we've got it set up pretty well. We also have 3 people coming in to test it this week and to work with us to help get it ready for a real launch sometime in the next couple of weeks. So I see a question in there from James Flynn. Do you need Facebook? For Discord, you do not. Discord is a separate application. It's pretty cool. If you've never used it, if you've never seen it, think about the old school message boards, but really hopped up on steroids. So you have a lot more functionality in them. You also have voice channels. So we're not going to launch with voice channels, but you'll actually be able to have conversations with people. So if you're going to be planning a trip and you want to get together with people in one spot beforehand, we're going to eventually open up voice channels. So let's say it's the trip to Capt and a bunch of guys are throwing their kayaks into their trucks and heading down. You can just jump into the Discord and you can talk about the planning and the logistics when you're getting there. And it'll all be contained in one spot. So you don't have to have these big group texts going all over the place. So, yeah, the thing that Joe was saying, Discord was made for gamers. And it was. And that's actually how I originally got into Discord, is for games that I play online. But we're going to have this server. It's going to be pretty cool. So just keep an eye out for that. So with that said, let's jump in. I'm going to bring Benji on first. Ben, it's good to see you, man.
Rich, what's happening? Good evening, everyone.
I'm cold.
I concur. We got that nice 22-degree weather down here in southern New Jersey.
It's nice and warm compared to the way it was last week. And then, yeah, and then let's bring on Captain Josh. Welcome. Good to see you.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I'm glad that you're on. So you're a first timer here. So everybody knows Ben, right? Everybody knows Crabbin and Fishin. Actually, more people know Benji than they know me. Um, Probably even on this channel.
Hogwash.
Yeah, well, you're the digital creator on steroids, and I'm just a dude that has a small podcast. So, yeah. But Captain Josh, let's take a moment before we jump in and we start talking about what the hell we're going to do until fishing is actually open and available to everyone. Why don't you take just a minute, introduce yourself, let everyone know what your business is, where you're located, what your specialty is, and then we'll just jump in and start talking about this winter weather.
Well, I spent 17 years running a party boat out of Brigantine, the Fish Finder 2. And when the owner decided to retire, he shut the business down. And that's when I went out, bought a boat, brought it home, and started my business from there. So I had a ready-made situation. I've already having a name, notoriety. People already knew me. So it was a pretty easy fit. And I must say, though, being on the podcast like this feels very similar, because it's my first time. Feels very similar to me taking my boat out for the first paid trip when I had people out there, and well, I did it for 17 years for somebody else's boat, and I gave the spiel and I talked for 10 minutes, and it was a big show and all. But when it came down to being my boat, and this is my operation, and this is my baby here, it was definitely nervous for me, and I had butterflies, and so it was a very special feeling that I still remember now. Um, if you hear any loud pops and all, it's not gunfire. I promise. It's the house is popping with the coldness. We got the heat inside and the cold outside. So every so often, you'll hear like a loud bang. It's just no matter how cold it is out there. But so the pontoon is a great opportunity for a lot of people to get out and fish. I definitely can cater toward the handicap and people who are less able. It's got a lot of things to hold on to. It's got a lot of seating. And it's just a super comfortable ride. It's like floating around in your living room. And, that I love taking care of people on the party boat. I always found it to be a challenge to get all 40 people on the same page. It's like herding cats, controlling chaos. But for the most part, I could get 38 of the 40 on the same page. And there's always those two people that just refuse to get with the program.
I was going to say, there's Benji and my brother. We'll put those two together.
I had one time this guy, he's fishing on everyone's fishing with like 4 ounces of weight, right, to stay on the bottom. And I got this guy in the bow fishing with 1 ounce, and his line keeps running all the way down the boat. And I come around, I say, you can't fish with 1 ounce of weight. You gotta get with everybody else, because your line's not doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And it got to a point, I'm like, if you caught a shark right now, you know what I mean, or a bluefish right now, it would just tangle up every line on this. I can't have that. Ended up cutting his line off and retying him with something a little more appropriate.
How did he react? Or I should say, how did Ben react?
He was upset in the moment. And look, it's 40 people, and I'd rather have the other 38 people happy and have him be been out of shape. And that's the way it goes, But on my boat with 6 people, it's much, much easier to keep track, keep everything on the same page. Right. You don't get the tangles, you don't get all those problems. So it's an awesome experience.
That was not me, Rich. That was someone else.
Oh yeah.
I'm Captain Josh's net man when I'm on the pontoon.
So. Oh yeah. Only other person allowed to touch the net.
Yeah, you don't want me anywhere near that net.
I did have someone grab the net on me this year. I'm not going to name any names or anything, but they wanted to net a crab. And I said, no, we don't net crabs. Just leave the crab be. And he went and grabbed the net anyways, and tried to net the crab. Fortunately, the crab was, smarter and got away.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel it necessary.
Oh,
what happened?
we can still hear you. Kind of. All right. So we're losing Josh for a second, but Ben, what do you I got to ask you real quick. What do you think about the people grabbing the net on your boat? Oh, you're on mute. Hold on.
As long as they're handing it to me, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because I take all the help I can get. I don't get bent out of shape with it. I'd rather for them to knock their own fish off the hook than me do it. That's my point of view.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And because then it's really a big laugh. And when they're, fussing and cussing about it, I can say, hey, let me do it next time.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about it so much. You don't have to.
Exactly.
I always joke that, like, don't put me on the net. I'm good on a boat with a net. On a kayak, I am horrendous. I mean, it's a very well known fact. I mean, there's so much video evidence of how bad I am at netting on a kayak, but I actually can net on a boat pretty well. Not perfect, but pretty well.
Netting on the kayak's not my issue. It's getting them in the cooler without them jumping back out. As you may recall, that season we were down behind the islands there.
Yep. Down in my favorite area to fish. Yep. Yeah, that's the same area that we had. We had that one in the tournament go flying out. The potential. Well, it ended up not being a winner, but it was pretty close. Where Mike had it and decided to measure it for some reason. So yeah, I don't quite get that. All right, Josh is back. Let's pull him back on. All right, you back, man?
Yep, I think so. Yep.
All right. Yeah, so we were just talking about the netting. Yeah, Ben's okay with people knocking their own fish off the hook. So
I prefer, if anybody's going to lose a fish, it's going to be me. I don't want someone else losing someone else's fish.
Yeah. All right. So let's jump in. And you said you're out of
Atlantic City,
Brigantine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. My boat's at the Golden Nugget in Atlantic City.
Yeah. That's why I see you all the time.
Yep. Right over the bridge.
Yep. Okay. All right. Now let's jump into this because, again, the weather sucks. And Josh, we're going to start with you. I just want to kind of go around and let me just ask this question to both of you. Do either of you or both of you rely on YouTube to get through the winter when you're not able to hit the water? Do you rely on YouTube at all? Let's start with fishing.
Yeah, I'll watch some videos. I see videos show up on Facebook and stuff, and I'll go explore that way. A lot of the videos I'm watching have to do with boat maintenance and things, trying to, the more you can do yourself, the better. And so, trying to teach myself some things here and there, doing a lot of research on products like I'm looking to add a Bimini top for this year.
Yeah.
I'm not Bimini, I'm sorry, a T-top.
T-top.
So I want to add a T-top this year to help me get out of the sun, in the summer. So a lot of research goes into that because there's, thousands of different options and different, ones available. So a lot of times it's more of a research tool. Yeah.
All right. So who are you? What are some channels or people that you're tuning into at this point of the year? Or is it just random videos? I mean, I go down that rabbit hole every night after my wife goes to bed. I turn off whatever's on TV and I put on YouTube and I just let it play.
Yeah, it's just random, whatever comes up, whatever I see, or whatever I'm looking at, in the meantime.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're looking boat maintenance and things like that right now because of the time of year.
Yeah.
All right. Ben, what are you looking at?
I'm vicariously. I'm living through everyone out there on YouTube. I mean, somebody that I've been watching heavily the past several weeks is Joe from 609 Fishing.
Yeah.
One of your former guests on here. And it's because a lot of his content has recently been about white perch, which, this is the time of year for it. For me, if I can find some open water, I'm always looking to see how to tie different rigs, how to tie, setups and different leader lines, etc. And of course, I'm always going back to my saved videos of how do I tie braid to mono. My favorite. Get my leader lines, practicing those things. But yeah, I live off of YouTube. I watch more YouTube than I do live TV or any other type of TV.
Yeah, I'm just obsessed with YouTube. And I'm just going to be quite honest about it. I typically do not watch fishing on YouTube because 99% of it is just I'm awesome. Look at what I caught. And for me, it's like, I want a little bit more out of it, a little bit more like if I could find somebody that's teaching something or doing something a lot different, I prefer that. There's nothing wrong with those other channels. It's just not what what I'll actively look for. I've stumbled across some in the past couple of weeks that I keep going back to. Have you ever seen Bob Aquatic fishes out of New York City?
I've not seen that one. I'm not familiar with them.
Okay,
I think I've seen a YouTube. I think I've seen a Facebook thing on it. Yeah.
Okay, so not a small channel, not a huge channel, but I thought it was interesting, and this is what I think the most recent one. I think I saw it last night actually. He's fishing for looks like striped bass. He's got a big bucktail on there, and then he's got small hooks above it. So he's going for herring, and he's pulling in, dude, little stripers that are like 6 inches long on those top two hooks. So I thought it was just so entertaining. I mean, he's essentially not trying to, but he's micro fishing. And to me, micro fishing is pretty cool. It's just the stuff that you can pull up. He catches in a trap, a little blackfish, things like that. But I also have been looking at B Sprex fishing. I don't know if you've seen that. He's also in New York. And then Bend It Fishing. All right. So Bend It Fishing has absolutely nothing to do with what I do because it's lake trout. And I don't even know where I would catch lake trout, or really make a day or, make anything of it. But I'll tell you what, it is entertaining as hell. So if you just want to see a dude that knows what he's doing, just lake trout fishing, look that up. It's Bend It Fishing. I absolutely love that. Now, on top of that, yeah, I'm still watching Joe. I've watched way too many of Joe's videos. And I actually go back his years. There are some of his that I just like, so I just kind of sort through until I find them. But I am also hooked on the white perch right now, and it's mainly because I know I'm not going to get out there. I'm not going to get out white perch fishing with this weather and with this cold. So, like you said, I'm living vicariously through Joe at this point.
Yeah, some of the other guys out there, I like a lot watching the younger kids. Like there's this kid Capt fishing out there.
Yes.
So I like checking him out, seeing what the little young people were doing, seeing them involved in the fishing. Another one that I enjoy watching, if anybody's familiar with Salty Sam, he does some things around New Jersey here, southern New Jersey, and I get hooked watching him because of the way he narrates his content. I end up getting wrapped up into it. But I like watching new folks and see what they have to offer because I'll share with you right off the top. I don't know it all and don't claim to. Right. Every time I watch somebody, I learn something new. Every time I get on the water, I learn something new. So yeah, like I said, I vicariously through YouTube. I learned so much, from all the content creators out there. If they are in fact teaching, like you said, I mean, it's not, most of the Facebook reels, they're so short. That's really all you can do is put together a highlight reel for Facebook. But YouTube's a different animal altogether if you find the appropriate channels.
Yeah, I've been actually. When you go on there, one of the things that I find to be a lot of fun is just put in random search terms. So like do Maryland saltwater or Maryland brackish fishing, and then look for the most recent uploads. And what you'll typically find is these micro channels with like 35 subscribers. But these dudes are running those channels like they're like 30,000. I mean, they're like putting everything into them. There are some really good gems of tiny channel. Like this is a small channel. I don't even know how many subscribers we have. It's less than 4,000 though. And these guys, I remember how it was. They're so much better than I was when I had that many subscribers. So I like watching those, definitely. But Josh, you mentioned, and actually both of you are in this position because you're both captains. You both have your own boats. One of the big things at this time of year is the most skipped thing of the year, and that's maintenance, right? So not just boat, but gear maintenance. So
Yeah.
Josh, what are you doing right now to prepare your gear? Not necessarily the boat, but the actual fishing gear.
Well, I am, in December is when I pretty much, wind things down. I start doing fishing for pleasure in December. Then January kind of is just, just kind of hang out.
Yep.
February is when I start getting things ready that way. I bought a whole new set of reels for the tog rods. Um, I like to use the bait feeders. And not for using the bait feeder to catch the tog, but it makes it easy on the spinning reels so when you're fishing in the holes, you're fishing around the rocks.
Yeah.
When you find a hole, it's so much easier to flip that bait feeder switch and drop your bait into that hole and then disengage it. And now you're in position to set the hook immediately. You know what I mean? So rather than trying to flip the bail over to drop it in, you can use that bait feeder to switch and do that. And it really is fantastic for that purpose.
Wow.
Now,
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Why the hell hasn't anyone told me to do this before? Because that to me is like you could do that for sheep's head.
Sure.
That would make it a lot more enjoyable to fish for sheep's head for me if I didn't have to keep opening the damn bail, because I prefer spinning rods for sheep.
Yeah.
I don't like using my other gear. And I don't have a lot of good sheep's head gear that's not spinning.
Yeah, I like we had 6 sheep's head this season, which is more than the first 3 years combined. So the biggest one I've gotten is 12 pounds on the boat. That's a big one.
Yep.
But I don't really target the sheep's head because with 5-6 people on the boat, it really is hard to do that,
Yeah.
But one thing, and I try to learn about sheep's head just because it's a new fishery and people are always asking questions. But one of the things that I have kind of seen about that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you kind of want a controlled descent.
Yes.
In a way, you don't want it just to free fall. You want to spend time through the water column, and using the bait feeder to drop it, you can kind of set that tension so that you can lower it, without just opening the bail. So you can have it go down quickly. You can have it go down slowly, and it's a nice feature for sure. But one of the things, Okuma's made a big change in how I use Okuma reels for the bait feeders. They used to have a big switch that stuck out, and people would break it because it would go to the max, and then they thought, oh, it's not all the way here, so then they'll jam it all the way up and break it. And it happens, and that's just part of the business. But the new models have the switch built into the reel seat, so there is a maximum. It can't go any farther. So, I got tired of throwing good money after bad, replacing these reels as they get broken. So I bought a whole new set with the new bait feeder system. So I'll be stringing them up and doing that. Otherwise, I'd be taking them apart and, cleaning them up, lube them up, and put them back together and do stuff like that.
All right. So you're on the reels right now.
I'm about to start. Because
Okay.
I'm starting with brand new one. Well, I still have to do. Well, the tog and the stripers are the first ones I use. The flounder, I'll get to the flounder a little bit. March is slow still. I get ready the boat ready in March, and but for the most part, the winter I get a lot of work done on my house. So the fishing, I used to work for a carpenter, and he retired. So now that he is retired, my winter times are projects at home now. And,
gotcha.
Yeah. So, but just the reels are the one thing that really, the rods, I take good care of the rods. You're always spraying them down. Anytime there's a problem, I send them in to get fixed. Get another one back, and yep.
And Benji, what are you doing? Are you doing the reels too, or have you done those already?
No, I'm actually working on the reels myself. This particular tsunami reel that I have here is one that on my last trip with Joe B up in Nantucket, I didn't even get to use this because my handle broke off. So I put a nice new power handle on this tsunami reel to pair back up with my rod, polishing the rods up, getting, ensuring I get all the dust and crud out of my reel seats and so forth and so on. And just going through relining things. I got some nice new spools of braid that I got to get put on these reels. So those are the things that and steps that we're working through right now in this off season, trying to pass time, because otherwise I'm just sitting here looking out the window and at my covered boat with snow on it, and that's just not a whole lot of fun. So fortunately, before the snow came and before I covered the boat up, as far as the boat maintenance, I know you're talking about the tackle type stuff, but I went through the normal process. I changed out the lower end fluids and flushed all that stuff out, got that done and ready to go, and winterized it. I have an E-Tech on my skiff, so real easy to do. So if and when this snow and ice ever melts, I can just pull outside the house here. I can go catch some perch, come back in the yard and refog it. It's real easy to do. 15 minutes, and he's parked again. So
yeah, I'm jealous. I'm jealous. Josh blanked out again. Let me just pull him off here for a second.
He planked out on us again. But on the larger boat, I don't have that luxury because that's got the saltwater edition 150 Mercury on it, and that's a little more involved as far as getting that one set up to sit, if you will.
Right.
But yeah, just going through rod maintenance and cleaning things up. I mean, a lot of you, if you've seen my posts on Facebook and so forth, I sleep with my fishing stuff. So you have a very intimate relationship, and that's why it works so well for me. At least that's what I believe. So I got to keep it clean if it's going to be in the bedroom. That's the white rule.
It's funny because Scotty, I think, is the opposite. Like, he always talks about, he just throws his gear in corners and everything, and that he's going to be like suffering when it comes time to clean it all up. I'm guessing that he hasn't done it for a while, and he's going to be behind. But I do have a question for you. You said that you are changing out your braid and you're putting new braid on. How often do you do that? Because I'll be honest with you, I have original line on all of my spinning gear has original line, with some of the reels going back to 2017, 2018, all braid. And I don't ever change it. Yeah, it's faded, but I've never noticed any issues at all with them. I know I do hose them down, after, well, not hose them down. I put a good mist of fresh water on them after, but how often do you change yours?
I do this every season, and just like you just stated, it's always faded, and for me, it's always weak. And when I've lost too many fish with the lighter braids that I use. So ultimately, what I do now, I may not string it all the way out down to the reel.
Yeah,
I'll probably just put some together and wind on this fresh and new stuff. And then if I have to change out a reel, obviously it gets reversed, right? So I run the new stuff on down around the reel, and I got fresh braid out there. But ultimately, now I use, unlike a lot of folks, I use a lot of my stuff for all the fishing that I do, whether I'm in the back bay or if I'm out at the wreck. I'm still using my same gear because it's what I'm comfortable with. It's what works for me. All those fish that people see me post and catch, I'm using the same gear that I'm using in the back bays, and I'm bringing in those fish, even those big ones from Nantucket. I was using my back bay equipment with that, and so I'm stringing out a lot more line is where I'm heading with that. So faded braid and all that, mine it runs deeper in the spool than most folks will who fish just.
What pound do you use?
I'm anywhere from 15 up to 30 as far as the braid's concerned.
I use 15 for flounder.
Yeah.
20 for striper and 30 for tog.
Yeah.
All right. So okay.
I'm in a unique position though, because for me, speaking of taking line off, I generally don't take any line off because I lose so much line with so many people fishing.
You don't have to.
To a point where all I gotta do is I just tie it off the braid to the braid and rewind the new stuff on top. Yeah. Because and that's one of the nice things about the Okuma reel. It has a large line capacity compared to like Shimano. Like you can really pack it on. So if I was just fishing my own equipment, that's one thing. But people lose enough line that I just wind it back on, and as long as it's not interfering with the casting, you know
That's
what I
kind
mean?
of
Like
like
I don't want to put a small amount of line just to top it off. So sometimes I may pull line off to get it down to a point where I can tie it and reload.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like cheating, having your fares unstring your line for you. I mean, geez, no wonder you don't have so much maintenance to do.
The worst is when it gets in the trolling motor. That's
Oh yeah.
that's yeah.
Oh man, oh man, you talk about
Tell
some
you,
maintenance.
as
Goodness.
soon as that happens, I know exactly. I wear the remote around my neck, so I mean, as soon as I hear that noise, turn it off.
Yeah.
And usually it's not so bad. But I've had to stop and take that prop off a few times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oftentimes it's wrapped around there more than you think by the time you hear it. There's so much line around there. When I pulled this thing out last season, I couldn't believe I probably could have wrapped one of these reels up with as much line that was around there. And I'm wondering why my batteries were running down. So I got rid of the lead acid. I added lithium batteries, and come to find out, it's because of the friction from all the line that was on. It was making my battery run down.
You got to check those, man. That'll burn that thing out.
Oh yeah.
So I'm fortunate. I'm the guy that I will spool the reel once. I will spool it all the way down, so I don't use any backing, and I don't lose. I don't get wind knots. As long as you spool it correctly, you don't over spool. You're typically not going to get wind knots on a spinning reel. And I don't cast bait casters. I have them, but I don't toss them. I usually do. I do sometimes, but I usually don't. So I don't have to worry about that stuff. So I guess I'm the spoiled one out of the three of us. I don't have to worry about other people tangling and all that stuff. But and look, when you have 300 yards of braid, you can go for a very long time, because I only cut off, maybe 2 or 3 inches when I retie.
Right.
So, and I don't retie all that often either. I've had almost full fluke seasons, and this is when I was fishing 2 to 3 times per week, where I would go almost the entire season with the same leader and the same bucktail on there.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean you just don't lose a lot of fish when you're fluke fishing. And I don't drag bottom. I try to keep it above the bottom so I don't snag a lot. Yeah, so I'm fortunate. All right, so let me ask this, Ben, kayaking. What are you doing to your kayak right now, if anything?
Nothing, just staring at it. It's just got to cover over, just like the boat does at this point. I mean, and, with the pedal, with my propeller kayak, the what is it, the Titan, Native Titan.
Yeah,
that one I'll pull my pedals out. I'll re-grease it, even whether or not it needs it, or if it needs it or not.
Yeah.
But the Hobie that I have out here, I don't have the same luxury. I had to change some pins on it. But that was
you always have to change pins on those.
Yeah, that was something that was done prior to the close of the season. But yeah, with the Titan, I just make sure that I repack it with grease and ensure that they're stored properly as far as those components are concerned. But outside of that, I really wish there was some sort of. I want to go out there and just buff it and shine it up, make it look real pretty and nice. But otherwise, it's just sitting there staring at me like, man, I wish I could be used.
So I've got mine in the garage. The garage is heated. So every once in a while, I'll turn on the heat, even though it's 10 degrees out, and I'll just go out and just mess around with it. So I've cleaned the drive. I haven't taken it all apart because you got warranty issues then, but I've re-greased everything. I made sure everything was clean, made sure there was no line in the drive. But, Old Town drives don't really require much maintenance on them. It's not like a Hobie where things bend. It's either it's working or it's absolutely catastrophic failure when you're talking these pedal systems. But my big thing right now is I'm looking for a new fish finder. And I do want to tell people, if you do need a new fish finder, now's the time to start looking, because you're going to start seeing over the next 60 days these sales. I am going to tell you, even though I just said that, don't go buying from Bass Pro. Go to your local shop and buy. But you can get a good sense as to what's going to happen to prices in local shops when you look at some of these bigger retailers as they retire older models. And I'll tell you what, for what the fishing that I do, you don't need a new fish finder with the latest technology. I mean, you're fluke fishing. All you need to do is see the structure. You're not seeing the fish anyway. If you have side scan, you can use side scan that is 10 years old at this point. You're still going to be able to see the bunker moving by. If you're fishing for striped bass, you're still going to see the sheep's head on the pilings. And I can tell you that because I have like a 6-year-old fish finder on mine, and it still works. The only reason I need to replace it is the temperature doesn't work anymore. So, well, that, and I broke the transducer 3 times.
Well,
so
I've had that problem, and I have 3 different transducers on my boat because I have 3 different units, and each has its own. And I know that you can network together, but if I have a problem then with one, then I lose everything.
Yeah.
So I have problems with the thermostat or the temperature not working properly. I'll have 2 different temperatures, or sometimes it'll not work entirely. And just swapping out the transducer always does the trick on that.
The problem is I'm not using, like, you're using a better fish finder than me, right? I mean, I'm in a kayak. I think it was, when I got it, it was $500. It's probably $150 at this point. It's a 9-inch low rance, whatever the model was. And what's that?
Oh, dear Lord.
What do you have? What brand?
It's a low rance.
Okay.
It's a 9-inch screen, which is nice. It's got the triple shot, so it's got like the side scan, the down, and all that stuff. It's got the maps. But I did break the transducer 3 times. And I just marine welded it back together every time, and it just stopped. So now, this past summer, as an example, the temperature behind Brigantine when I was fishing in the middle of summer was only around 16 degrees Fahrenheit, apparently. So apparently that's never going to work again. But it's about time that I get a new one anyway. So I am doing that right now. And I do need to fix my steering cables, because those things have never been adjusted since I bought it. And boy, do they have play in it now. I mean, there is like, they're so loose. So those are things, if you're a kayak fisherman, I would suggest looking at those. Just keep in mind, you don't want to tighten them necessarily and loosen them now, but just kind of put them on your list for when the temperature increases, because they do expand and contract with the temperature. So you don't want to be like tightening or loosening cables now and expecting them to perform the same when it's 75 degrees or 80 degrees later in the year, or 100 degrees.
I ran into a problem with over, I think we were Sea Isle, Stone Harbor. I was out with Ray B on the kayak, and started raining on us, and I'm out there just spinning in circles because my rudder got, it was too tight. I couldn't spin it. It wouldn't turn. I'm trying to get back to the dock. I mean, it's raining cats and dogs, and I can see it, and I just can't get there because I'm going in circles. So ultimately, I figured all that out, loosened it up, and took the slack out of those lines. And oh my gosh, man, that was miserable. That was so miserable. They're laughing at me.
I can picture Ray's face, by the way. I can picture what he was looking at you and saying under his breath as he's watching you. It must have been entertaining. All right. There are a couple other things that we have to hit. Now, I don't know if either of the two of you have anything to say on these, but there are a couple of things that I want to share in these categories that are directly fishing related. The first one is fishing books. Do either of you read or listen on Audible to fishing books at all? No.
No.
Okay. It's always a crapshoot as to whether, and a lot of people say they do, but they don't. Ben, do you read any fishing books?
I have not read. I own them, but I haven't read them. I mean, in all honesty, right? I have 2 of Nick Konicheski's books that he was kind enough to sign for me, and then I have one of what is it, Fishing the Flounder or whatever, the John Skinner's book.
I got that one. I got that one too.
I opened the preface and might have gotten through that, but to sit and read about it, it's just easier for me to flip on YouTube, and that's my audio book, if you will, as far as fishing books concerned.
So some of these are available on Audible. The first one that I'm going to say, it was written originally in the 1600s. It is a great book. It's called The Complete Angler. Complete, Compleat. It's by Isaac Walton, and what's the other guy's name? Cotton. His last name is Cotton, I think. It is a good book. It's from the 1600s. was when it was originally done, but they keep re-releasing it, and it's on Audible. I think there's different versions on there. There's like a 6-hour one, there's like a 9-hour one. If you just want to listen to something with fishing, it is interesting to see the things that they were talking about back then, hundreds of years ago. The other two, Saltwater Fly Fishing by Joe Brooks, another old book. I think this is from like the 40s or the 50s. That's a good one. I don't think that's on Audible. I read that a long time ago, and I don't even have a copy. But if you can find one, that's a good book. But here's one I almost want to smack myself for saying it, because I'm not the biggest fan of this guy. How to Think Like a Fish by Jeremy Wade. Jeremy Wade, to me, I don't know if I like him or not. Like it all depends on what I'm watching him do, but it's a really good book. It is a really good book. So I do recommend that. And that is, I believe, on Audible too. And I think it's actually him narrating. So those are three that I would say, but out of all of them, just for the cool factor, I think the Complete Angler is definitely one to check out. Definitely
checking it out. I mean, I watched it. What is it? River Monsters, Jeremy Wade. I don't know if I could get. I don't know if he's doing the voiceover. I don't know if I can get past that though. But
the thing about him that I found really interesting is, and it always annoyed me. You watch River Monsters, and he always has that big conventional setup.
Yeah,
and he's throwing this like monster gear, and he's catching these tiny fish, right? I mean, I know he's going for the monster, and he actually talks about that in the book, and he talks about why he does that. And I give him credit for this, because he believes to the depths of his soul that you never under gear for any fish, because it's not fair to the fish. That it's going to kill the fish, it's going to overwork them, and you owe the fish, in return for it biting and giving you that fight, you owe it the best chance at survival that you can give it. And to that, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. I mean, we've all, at some point in our lives, whether we still do it now or we did in the past, we would under gear just for that fight. And we would bring up those fish after an hour. We should have had them up after 2 minutes. And after an hour, we let them go. And you think they swim away strong, but they're just whooped. And so I have to give him credit for that. And maybe that's kind of where I turned a little bit on him. I was like, all right, I'll read the whole book. So, but it's a good book. It's definitely worth checking out, especially if you have Audible and you get the free, I mean, you're paying for the subscription, but I think you get like 4 books a month, 3 or 4 books. So I have 14 saved up. So I already have this one, but I was looking a couple of weeks ago for a few other to put in there, and I bought a few, and I'll let people know down the road, maybe on the Discord, if there's any others that I would recommend. So, all right. So the next one, what about podcasts? As Josh is going to work his way back in, Ben, you listening to podcasts? What are you listening to or watching or live streams?
I'm gonna be honest. I've yet to figure out how to navigate the podcast. I pulled down a couple of those apps. I tried to catch the multi-species podcast. I don't. I'm like an idiot when it comes to it. I can't figure it out how to find them when they're live. I can't find them in the library. So I'm not as astute on the podcast education series as I probably should be.
Okay. I listen to them all the time. I mean, I'm a realtor. I'm in the car all the time. So I'm listening to a book. I'm listening to a podcast. And if I'm listening to something, it's either real estate and business related, or it's fishing. Most often it's fishing. So I've kind of run through a lot of them. You got the local ones, you got the New Jersey multi-species, you've got tide chasers. But I actually, the ones that I really like are more of the national ones, the bigger ones. The Captain's Collective. Don Mace, I think, was the one that turned me onto this years ago. It's just a bunch of captains down south that get together and they just talk fishing. And I'll tell you what, they're hilarious. You can tell that they're friends. They all fish the same areas. They're making fun of each other. And if you ever just want to spend some time feeling like you're hanging out at the dock after a day on the water, that is a great one. The Captain's Collective. Guidepost is another good one, again, down south. So it's not necessarily a clean translation to our area, but
Rich.
it's
Here comes Josh. But we've
you lost
Rich.
me?
Here we
You lost me?
He's back. You're back.
Everyone can see everyone.
We're all back.
All right. Yeah, it must have just dipped me out while Josh came back in. Josh, we're just talking about podcasts, and I mentioned, do you listen to podcasts at all for fishing?
No, not particularly.
All right. So write these down. Captain's Collective. That's your type of people, the captains. They just get together after the days on the water and they just start talking about, BSing each other and talking about what happened on the water. The Guidepost is another good one. And one, Joe Cermelli. I don't know if you guys know Joe Cermelli for cut and retie. He's really big on meat eaters. He's been on a lot of podcasts as a host. His things, if you've never listened to Cut and Retie, I recommend it. And I recommend that you listen to multiple episodes because you're going to have to, it's all inside jokes and everything, but you understand what they are after you listen to a few episodes. But he is hilarious. He's a local guy, actually. He's in Bucks County, PA, and he fishes for everything and all over the place. He'll travel the country to meet up with guests and everything. So Cut and Retie. Bite Me is a good one. It's Texas fishing, but boy, is it fun to listen to at this time of year. And then Fish Nerds. You guys have had to listen to the Fish Nerds at some point. Somebody in chat, please tell me that you that you guys have listened to some of these podcasts, because these are really good podcasts. They're really well done and some really entertaining people on them. So
tell us some of the platforms that we can find these on, Rich.
So all of these, so anyone that isn't sure how to get to a podcast, it's similar to how you get to the audio only version of this. You can go to Apple Music. You can go to Amazon Music. You can go to Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio. They're all going to be up on almost all of these, right? And you just search by the name of the podcast. So if you want to find Fat Dad Fishing and you want to listen to it in the car, it's literally this with a little cleaned up audio, a little bit of editing, reposted. So you just go and you put Fat Dad Fishing, you subscribe or follow, depends on what they call it on the platform. And then whenever you log into that app on your phone, it'll just show the newest episode and you could choose to listen to it or skip it or whatever you want to do. It doesn't necessarily download it. It's just there for you. You can stream it. So it's as simple as that. So put on your phone, put Spotify on there, Benji, and just start looking through and do a search for some of these things. And you just get to pick the episode and play it. It's that simple.
So I don't know about Captain Josh, again, tonight we're talking about what we do in the wintertime when it's cold, other than re-up our tackle supplies and, in New Jersey and what, about 3-4 weeks now, we got striped bass coming back in. So I'm making sure I got my circle hooks and things of that nature. But, the other thing that I do, as a still a new captain, I don't know if Captain Josh is doing this, so I'm going to try and see if I can fish it out of him, right? Since we're fishermen. I've been doing a lot of SEO education as far as my website's concerned. So a lot of internet type stuff and marketing sides of things from a fishing perspective. And also researching fish. A lot of you out there on Facebook, you've seen some of the informational posts I've been putting out just about the different fish that are out there that we may not be thinking of. Get a lot of feedback, particularly Billy Ackerman, one of your viewers here and podcast listeners. He said, just from seeing those posts, he's like, man, there's a lot of fish I haven't caught yet. So well, it's a good thing. I'll keep putting those things out. So
I love when you post those, by the way. It's good information, and like Billy said, there's a lot that people don't realize are there. A lot of people think New Jersey has no fish. There's
Well,
plenty.
I run a first fish contest on the boat for the season. So whoever catches the first of every species of fish wins one of my special edition hats.
Ah,
And the only way you can get the hat is to win it one way or another. So for the first fish, I mean, I typically catch 30 different species of fish throughout the season. And, it's a lot. People don't realize, like you said, that there's so many different things that are there at different times of the year. So
yeah,
I'll have customers, that want the hat, and they'll be like, well, what's still on the table? What can we
right,
still
right.
catch? I'm like, well, this time of year, you got this and this and that, but if you wait till October, these become available, and if you, different times of the year that way. But there is quite a lot of diversity. And I can recall one time on the party boat, we were fishing off the Steel Pier, and it was some bachelor party. And we caught 13 different species of fish in that one trip,
Wow,
fishing off, including a grouper, little baby grouper.
really?
Yep, fishing right off the Steel Pier like that. And it's funny because the guys in the bachelor party are like, "Wow, this is fishing. This is great. We gotta do this more often." And it was dropping real. I mean, you just caught different stuff every time you dropped it down. And I was like, "Yeah, it's not always like this, but yeah, this is a great day." But you don't realize, like, yeah, there's so many different things you can catch. There's 4 different species of stingrays. Everybody focuses on the cow nose ray that they all catch, but there's 3 others that you generally catch.
Yeah,
I have to say though, this last year was one of my lower seasons. I don't know that I broke 20 species last year.
really?
Yeah, it was. A lot of different fish I didn't catch. Something like a lizard fish.
Yeah, yeah.
No
Well,
lizard fish this year. No pig fish this year. Um, it's just, from year to year you see different things, but this past year was a down year for that. I didn't give away as many hats as I would have liked.
did you get any butterfly rays?
No, that's the one I didn't get this year, is the butterfly. Nope.
Those, I'll tell you what, I caught one in my life, and I caught it from a kayak,
Wow.
and I caught it
Wow.
in. And Benji, I will show you exactly where I was. It was 14 feet of water at the intersection of 3 channels. So it was not a good spot to be with a thing that was probably 6+ feet across.
Sure.
It took almost an hour to get it 14 feet up. And it was one of the things I should have just let it go, but it wasn't really even fighting that hard. It was just kind of sucking into the bottom and just sitting there. But I was able to let the current kind of drag me up over a sandbar, and it finally came up close. I just wanted it to be close enough that I could cut the line real close to it. That thing was massive. That was insanity.
The last one we caught was off the jetty, Toggin.
Really?
Yeah, I don't, somehow came in and they swim by and they'll snag the line. Some of the guys like to cast out, rather than drop it straight down.
Yep.
So that guy on the bow casting it out off the point, someone swims by. So we're in 40 feet of water with current. So that was, but again, I got the heavy gear for that, heavier. So we got him to the boat, fairly quickly.
You got to. I just say you got to watch when you're kayak fishing with Rich, because he's a shark magnet, so you have to be careful with him. Now, Captain Josh, on the other hand, if there's a fish out there to be caught, he's going to catch it. I mean, I've seen this guy. He's even on his pontoon boat. He pulled up an octopus. I've never seen that before.
Oh yeah,
really?
Yeah, got an octopus Toggin. Yeah, off the jetty there, and I put it, took it off the hook on the boat there, and it was crawling around on the bow, and I figured out it's going to find its way, because I took the front door off the pontoon, so for the trolling motor.
Yeah,
he'll find his way right out the front there. Now he wants to go into my battery compartment.
Yeah,
I'm moving him out with my foot, trying to keep him out of the battery.
That was probably one of the most interesting catches I've seen an octopus. I've never seen one in person, but when he pulled that up and had the video, it was just outstanding to see that a real life octopus. It's crazy.
So I've never caught one, but I do know like you do not want that going anywhere near anything on your boat that it can get into, like the bilge, especially
with wires, I'm sure.
Yeah, once it's down in that bilge, you're like done. And now I've never caught an octopus. I've never tried. I don't want to. It would be cool, but I don't want to. I would probably be the. Hold on. Just had to. Josh, just muting your mic for a second while the sound catches up. I would be the guy who catches the octopus, and I would be really nervous about grabbing that octopus. You know what I mean? For no reason except for that I watched all the old movies where the octopus just devours a person whole.
I think they shoot ink too. I wouldn't want to be an inkberry.
Hey Josh, you're gonna have to reconnect. You've got a background sound there going. Yeah, they shoot ink. I have been shot by ink before by squid. I think it was.
Wow.
Or no, maybe it was just water. Yeah, maybe it's just water. I've been hit in the face by water from squid, but
Sure,
yeah, there's something about an octopus I'm not a fan of. I don't like eels. Not afraid of them, but I would rather not have to deal with them, to be honest with you.
It's like Double Dare. You get slimed by the eels. I had a customer over there. We were fishing in Josh's neck of the woods, and obviously I've seen them. I know what they look like, but I've never seen a squid come up on a hook while I'm fishing. Yeah. And I had a customer pull one up, but it was I don't know, it was just weird. It struck me as weird. So that was the catch of the day. That probably would have got a hat from Captain Josh.
I definitely want to go out squid fishing. I definitely want to do that. I don't have the right gear or hooks for it. But I definitely want to go out squid fishing. I've definitely caught squid, but I haven't hooked the squid. The squid that I've caught have just held on to baits when out tuna fishing, where you're reeling up, they follow it up and then they just grab it and you're able to just kind of swing them into the boat. That's the only time I've ever caught squid. I've never actually done it by targeting squid yet.
We've caught a number of catch. It was all by accident, I'm sure, because we were out in again Captain Josh's neck of the woods, and we were fluke fishing, and he brought his line up, and he had a squid on it. And I said, get that joker over here so we can put that whole. Let's hook it right. Yeah, fluke could tear it up.
Yeah,
that was you. Yeah. I think a shark took it or something happened like that.
I'm not sure what got it, but Captain Josh took my striper. I was posted up on a corner. He comes flying past me and says, "Hey, watch this! I'm going to go up here and catch some stripers up in this creek." He had a couple women fishermen on there.
Yeah.
More power to him. He's laughing at me. He says, "Watch this! I'm going to go up here and catch a striper." And 30 seconds later, boom! The girls are on the boat yelling and screaming. He's got a 30+ inch striped bass on. We're posted up on the corner as Fat Dad taught me to do, and he pulls up in it, and Josh pulls up in the creek here and catches the striped bass.
I was in like 2 or 3 feet of water. 3
right.
feet of water.
That's the way to do it.
So,
yeah, makes us both look stupid, right?
That was probably one of the best little things there. Literally, within 30 seconds, the fish was on there.
We're catching skates 2 at a time. He pulls up and catches the target species. It was great. He was shouting back and forth. So we have a blast out there on the water.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, we're coming up on the hour. There are a couple things I wanted to share from the chat before we go. The first one, tuned in tonight because of Captain Josh. Christmas gift to my family, brother, and 3 nephews was a trip on the Jenny Lynn. We're all looking forward to it. That's from Forgiven Adventures. Wanted to share that.
Oh, we were out in the ocean. That was one of the best striper trips I've ever had. We were out in the ocean, just clobbering them every cast. I mean, they were under the boat. They were swimming by the boat. You could see them. It was insane. And
those are the days we all want.
Yep.
All right, there was another one in here. Hold on.
I like that one from Tom Natoli. We absolutely are.
I can't, but I know my brother well enough to know that I should just like skip the stuff that he puts in here. Oh, here's a good one. And actually, Eric, I got to get back to you. But besides Fact Dad podcast, Millhouse is far and away #1 podcast around. That is another great one. So look up Millhouse. That is easily a top. It doesn't even matter who you talk to. It is, as far as fishing podcasts, it's got to be a top 3 in the world. It is an amazing podcast.
We'll give him a listen. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's worth it. I mean, it's just so entertaining. There's so much informative, episodes and everything. I'm skipping.
I saw a comment in there from your brother. I think he was talking about your mama. They might be fighting words. I don't know.
He said listening to me in his car, it would be like listening to our mom punishing him. He's the baby of the family. He didn't get punished but once in his life. That's it. And thankfully he doesn't have a microphone, because he'd start dishing on all the things that I got in trouble for. All right, and here is one. Ben, for you, from my brother, are you booking crabbing trips yet for 2026?
We're open for bookings for crabbing for sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
Crabbin and Fishin.com. You can book your trip or send me a text 609-431-0017.
Okay. All right.
0017.
0017.
All right. And then Josh, are you booking trips yet, or is your schedule up?
I have not posted. I have not made this schedule live yet.
Okay.
I'll do that by around this time of year. I start to get that up there.
Okay.
And then the bookings will be for April and spring into flounder season. I don't open Tog up until later in the summer, and I don't open the fall striper up until later than the summer as well.
Okay. All right. So you step through the year instead of booking it all up front.
Yeah. Just because it gets too cluttered on my website as far as different trips available.
Okay. So, and what is your website?
Fishwithjosh.com. Very easy. Fishwithjosh.com.
All right.
And the number is 609-400-1015.
All right. So everybody go back and listen to this for those numbers and everything. Guys,
real quick though, Ben, if you want to go perch fishing, you're worried about finding unfrozen water. I just bought a flamethrower. All right. So, I can be on the bow of the boat there and I can clear a path. It goes to 4,000 degrees.
Okay. That's probably a little hotter than the one I ordered. I'm waiting for it to arrive.
Mine's coming tomorrow. My garage is detached in the back, and I can't. It's where all the fishing stuff is. I can't get to it because I have all the snow and the ice. And so I plan on tomorrow going out with a propane tank and just setting fire to the yard. And so right. I could be on the bow of your boat there, spraying away, clearing out a path for you.
I can relate to that. I can't get out my back door right now because the patio's the ice that got under the patio raised it up, so I can't get out the back door.
All right, so let me just hold on one second.
But my phone number is cooler than yours. That you can't beat that 0017.
No.
I don't know. They're gonna dial it wrong. They're gonna put 2 O's and a 0. A 2 O. Oh no, you were right. Yeah, I'm sorry. 0017. Yeah.
0017.
Yeah, close enough, right? Close enough. All right. So listen, also, again, I want to remind everyone, we're going to have this Discord server going. You guys, if you want to jump in, it would also be a spot where you can, let people know what you got coming up and availability and all that stuff. So we're going to post more about that coming up. Both of you, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. Hopefully we can get through this crap weather. It's supposed to suck again this week with 2 small potential snow episodes coming through this week, but it's got to get better soon. And my biggest fear right now is the start of striped bass season, because we're going to have all this runoff. It's going to be too cold. It happened 3 or 4 years ago where it just destroyed everyone. The the pre-fishing for striped bass was going crazy, and then we got this cool down and it just shut off for like the first 2.5 weeks of the season. So I'm a little nervous that we might be looking at that if we can't get rid of all this runoff, because this runoff in Pennsylvania that's going to work its way down to you, it's going to be significant.
Well, this past year, the spring was very cold. That water was cold, and the striper season was lagging, because of it. So,
yeah,
I usually go out there on that. I usually go out on that first day, but I don't think I'm even going to attempt to go out till third or fourth last week of March. It's just, I don't know.
I'll have the boat in the water in mid-March, but my first trip's going to be, April 1st. I don't start till April.
All right. I'll be fishing as soon as I can. It'll probably be starting fresh water, but then, before I load up the kayak and hit the water, down there. But we need some of the ice to go away. You got people ice skating on Wildwood beaches and the Delaware Bay beaches. What's funny is people think that they're actually skating across Delaware Bay. And I've seen a lot of people online going crazy about how they should be wearing life jackets, but really they're skating on like an inch of water on the sand. But social media never disappoints, man. I'm just having so much fun watching all of this stuff go on. So that's another way that you can spend your time when you can't hit the water. Just laugh at the people that think that they're out,
Well, with kayaks, if you guys want to get out there, you could probably retrofit them with some skates. Make yourself you have the ice sailing boats. You could put a couple of blades underneath there instead of a paddle. Put some picks on there, and you can slide yourself out and
put the pedal wheels on the back, and we'd be like tanks. I like your thought process on that. But another thing that we do in the wintertime, as you get ready to close, Rich, is I'm looking at my log books because I'm looking at those temperatures for last year. And like Josh said, it was a cold start to the season, and it wasn't this cold outside. The water was cold. So I already know. Yeah, I already know. You already know what that's going to do to the water. It's going to push it back. That's why I'm aiming for probably late March before I even get started.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Well, we'll get there. We'll figure it all out together. We're going to get back into some more targeted fishing things. Hopefully there's something that's going to be open and fishable, because literally right now, unless you're ice fishing, there's really not much that's even fishable or safe for fishing. You talk about the kayaks. I actually saw a video over the weekend of a guy who took his kayak out in fresh water, and he was breaking ice with the kayak, and he actually ended up capsizing because you can't really. They're little plastic boats, and he high-sided it and he went in. Now, look, it didn't matter because he was in a creek that was about 2 feet deep. So it didn't really matter to him. He just stood up and dragged it back to shore, and his day was done. But, people do actually go out we see people dying every year.
People see that and not know, necessarily too.
Yeah. Yeah. This is just a little creek that he went out on, but you're going to see perch fishermen getting stuck and getting in some dangerous situations. So I would just leave it at this. I don't think there's anything wrong with going fishing right now. If you can do it, you can do it safely. I would say if you're a kayak fisherman, please make sure you're going with at least one other person. Dry suits are non-negotiable at this point. All that good stuff. And if you think I'm a dork for saying it, I don't care. Just put it on, because someone's going to have to identify your body, and it's probably not the way that you want your wife, significant other, mom, or whatever to remember your bloated dead body because he couldn't put on a life jacket and a dry suit. So I'll leave it at that. Guys, thank you for coming on. We'll be back next week. We got another episode. Just got to get it confirmed, but we should be lined up pretty good for the next few weeks. And just like I ended last time, I'm going to say it, but I don't necessarily mean it unless you could do it safely. But till next time, get out there, get on the water, and get some tight lines.